Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Whole Story. We are here in this allergy season right now. I'm sniffling away. Alex is 100% healthy, though, which is good. At least one of us is.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, chilling. A little incident yesterday, which prevented him from playing kickball, but you're good.
Alrighty.
You're back today. Man, we normally, if you...
spreading the news.
Yes, sir. What did you tell everyone at kickball you were doing? Did you make up an excuse or did you tell them
No,
the
I
truth?
told them the truth. I told them I had an issue with my eye or whatever.
But you're here healthy today. I'm sniffling, and hopefully these mics are good enough to pick it up, but sorry that they are. But if you've been here, usually we recap the weekend as it went, practice, qualifying, and so on. But today, man, this weekend is something that we've been waiting for a long time, and I can safely speak for Alex in this one, is that we are so excited to announce here that Lando Norris was your winner this race week. The text messages I was getting from this man were crazy.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
John, I don't think John watched the race live, did you?
I did not. I was
You
at
did
the
not.
circus.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, what a circus you were at. What a circus you were missing.
Life. It was good. It was good. There was a lot of great racing on this.
What did you do at the circus?
Watched it. What do you mean?
Was it like why'd you guys go though? Was it like
to Brink Carter?
just to bring Carter?
Yeah.
Not Cinco de Mayo celebrations or anything?
Not for the what?
Did you do like Cinco de Mayo celebrations or anything? You know, Cinco de Mayo. You know what every American believes is
celebrate
Mexican
Cinco de
Independence
Mayo
Day.
every Friday night at Los Mariachis when we get our burritos and tacos. Okay.
You get tacos.
I get a burrito.
What-
Brooke gets the tacos.
What does Brooke get in her tacos?
She gets chicken tacos, steak, and just with onion and cilantro.
Oh, all right, that
That's
sounds
it.
pretty fire.
And I
You
get
know,
the
not
steak
the
supreme.
typical like white man taco with the lettuce and tomatoes.
No.
Yeah, we're
Those are
good.
Taco Bell tacos.
Yeah.
But I wasn't watching the race live. I love Lando Norris. I think everyone loves Lando Norris, but I know I'm happy for him. I'm so ecstatic for him, but I think you're happy on a different level. Like,
I was so happy for him. It was like just watching the first, like you said, right off the rip. Like Lando won the race. It did look like it was on pace until we found out some news later on today that Red Bull has some floor damage, or Max had some floor damage. Sorry.
I don't love it though. I'm still saying it was on pace pretty
Yeah,
well.
I mean, like Lando gets a lucky safety car, right? You know, let's make ends meet. It was a good safety car for him. He comes in pits during the safety car, ends up taking the lead, staying to the lead because Max pitted earlier before the safety car incident.
Yeah.
And that puts Max down in, was he P2?
That's it. He was
whatever.
P2. He was
Yeah.
right on him.
No,
That's
and then he was
that's
on
why
him.
I don't
And then
it.
what I loved about it though was like I'm watching it and I'm like I'm freaking out. I'm texting you. I'm like, please tell me because I don't want to spoil it for you. So I'm like,
Yeah.
please tell me you're watching this race.
You did good.
I'm like
either.
full caps. I'm like, John, what are you doing? Come on, talk to me.
You did good.
And then I'm texting other people and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like this is nuts. Like Lando has a chance, and then all of a sudden I see the restart happen. Lando pulls away like a little out of DR, and then he pulls out of DRS range, and then Max is still trying to like pull in there, and then little by little he just keeps clawing away, and he just keeps on creating that gap, and I'm like, this can actually happen.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the race, when Albon locked up, God, did my heart stop.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Williams cannot do this to me again.
You're not the only one. McLaren was on the radio telling Oscar to be careful.
Yeah, to be
with his
careful. I felt
moves.
that he had a rough race too.
Yeah.
Like he had I think Carlos complaining was a little too much complaining. He was just trying to play politics and get a position back, but I think it was clean racing. I don't think he pushed him off the track during, I forget what incident that was.
You don't think he pushed him off the track?
I think like the lines are there for a reason. Like if it's a wall there, Carlos can't make that move to begin with. And it did look like they were pretty close coming to the apex.
There should be a wall there.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You know how many crashes would happen there?
1,000%.
Because who ran the apex first? Was it
Carlos.
Somebody ran the entire Magnussen during the sprint race, I think, right? He ran the entire thing.
Well, he cut the chicane after that, after turn 11. But I disagree. I think there should be a wall there. I would love to see how they would react. But
I mean, Miami's so tight as is. I think like.
No, but I think it would fix all the issues. That's just my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah. So I mean, we could talk about it later. Let's get back to Lando. At what point did you think he was going to win the race?
After the restart, I want to say when he pulled when I saw he was gapping, and not only did he create the gap, but he was pulling in fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, and I was like, I hope he's not going to burn the tires out because I think there was still like 20 something laps left. But he was on hards, so like he was doing good with it. It was smooth, and he pulled it hard, and then I was just like, dude, he can do this. I was like, as long as there's no safety car incidents, like this can happen.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a safety car incident, Red Bull, even with the floor damage, they get into that DRS range, and their straight line speed is just impeccable and it's hard to stop. And then, McLaren did look quick this weekend. And, Lando, McLaren looked quick this weekend. They brought a bunch of upgrades and stuff. And it seems like they're working for the most part because Oscar didn't look slow either. He was holding back Ferrari for a long time, and
I believe Oscar didn't have all of the updates.
okay,
that
really?
Lando had, I believe.
But yeah, I mean, like they look really good this weekend, and it was nice to see like. And I love the sportsmanship from all the drivers too. Afterwards, like Lewis came by off the rip and he starts clapping it for, celebrating with him, and then after he gets out of the car, I didn't see it at first because I think I was freaking out, like walking around, like not noticing it. But Max did congratulate him right away.
Oh yeah, right away.
Yeah,
yep.
I didn't see that though because I was just walking around, and I'm the first person I saw congratulate him was Charles. So I'm like, did Max really not congratulate him? I'm like, that's not like.
I think Max congratulated him before Charles did.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. As soon as he got out of the car, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Charles congratulated, and then Fernando came over, Carlos came over. Danny Rick came over. That's been a real surreal feeling.
Yeah.
Two previous McLaren winners.
Yeah.
It was just it was so awesome to watch. And then the when he goes to celebrate with the team, he just launches himself, like stage dives over.
He's not actually supposed to go over those barricades.
Oh, that's
either.
a rule, really?
Yeah, because he's technically leaving Parc Ferme, but like it was amazing to see. I don't care.
Nah, yeah, let him celebrate.
Oh
man.
my gosh, as he should have. You're right.
Let him celebrate.
He jumps in, they hoist him up. You're right. It was as good as it can get. I was please don't break his balls for this. Like that would be the worst thing Formula One could do. You could see them doing it. That's something they would do, bro.
It's exactly something they would do. They just have to ruin it. But it's like, what was I gonna say? Dude, I remember I was texting and I was like, if I'm Lando, I don't, because like when they go to the team radio after the race, you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's got to be crying. Like he's got to be crying. Yeah. I was like, because I know I would be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be crying my eyes out. And then when I go to when he parks it in P1 or whatever at the end of the race, I would have got out my car and I would have pulled the Sebastian Vettel celebration. I would have started bowing down to the car right then and there. Like that feeling must just be amazing for that guy right now. He's on top of the world.
To come close so many times as he had 110 races, I believe was this weekend.
I think he was one shy of Nico Rosberg.
Of what?
Like longest, like a long time without winning a race.
Really?
Like starts, yeah. So I think Nico Rosberg I think it was like one race he beat him by, and then that's it.
Good. We'll leave Nico Rosberg with that stat. I like that. And we'll talk about how he got there real quick. Off the rip, Lando falls down to 6th. He stays long on a medium tire, looked very fast. That's, when Max pitted it, he was mowing down Carlos Sainz. He was coming. Sainz. Sorry, I got to work on that. Carlos Sainz. He's mowing him down. You're right. A virtual safety car and a safety car does play into his favor. Well, he doesn't pit on the virtual safety car. He pits on the full safety car, which puts him out in front. But after that, again, Max Verstappen is right on him. Max Verstappen's tires were older, but not that much older.
No.
And this was a pure pace thing. You never heard Lando complain about the car being bad. You heard Max kind of complaining all weekend about the car being bad.
He couldn't turn it.
Yeah. Struggled a lot, as you could see when Max hit the chicane, which they are now saying that caused a little bit of floor damage. When he hit the chicane, that was the cone incident, which brought out the virtual safety car. But I mean, we've seen Carlos Sainz won Australia this year. He won Singapore last year. Both of those there was excuses for Max. There really was.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
This is McLaren putting out a good car. Making
me look like a jerk because they told me that the upgrades we weren't going to see the difference in the upgrades. I think we sure saw a difference in the upgrades. Lando has a bad Saturday too, where he wrecks out of the sprint race, walks across the track, potentially going to get a fine. I'm pretty sure he will make it rain with that fine now. I don't think he cares.
His parents are millionaires too, so like he's set.
Are they millionaires?
Yeah, they're rich. Lando's a pay driver.
Really?
Yeah, his family's like I'm pretty sure he had an entire little shed dedicated to a sim setup.
Oh well, listen, I respect it. That's awesome. But yeah, no, this was one he did not have to pass Max on track, but he didn't need to. He did everything right. The car was phenomenal. Man, I just don't know what else to say. It was just a straight up win that we haven't seen in a long time.
No, it was nice to see. Red Bull looks vulnerable, and according to Newey, he doesn't see many improvements coming to this new Red Bull. Yeah. So I'm sure he's saying that and he's sandbagging it a bit. They're definitely going to close the. They're definitely going to go a little quicker throughout the year because Ferrari's bringing upgrades to Imola next week. Mm-hmm. And I don't think McLaren's done bringing upgrades either. Neither is Ferrari. Mercedes, obviously the same thing. Aston Martin. These guys are going to start closing this gap. But it's nice to see that Red Bull isn't Superman out there. They have a kryptonite. They can lose.
Yeah, and we're gonna look at points and stuff later, but it just really opened. Oh man, it just opens up the season. It really feels like Lando could be in it now any week, and maybe the Ferraris can. They've always been relatively close. Maybe.
I mean, Charles is in qualifying wasn't too far behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is what we needed for the season. But the fact that it's Lando Norris, Alex already said, man, all the drivers were there cheering for him, congratulating him. Online posts, in person, they were there for him. The cool down room was awesome to see the three of them hanging out.
Yeah.
This boy deserved a win, I think is right, and he finally got it.
I'm so happy for that guy, man. And then outside of just Lando Norris, this Miami race, for the last, since it's been on the calendar for the past 3 years it's been now?
Yep.
This is the third one?
Third year. Yep.
Yeah, so it's been pretty boring racing.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that. And even outside of Lando Norris, like the midfield battles, there were some decent battles going on. Lewis is chasing down Checo towards the end of the race. I think he had less than a 1 second gap. It is hard to overtake on the track.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very, very tight. DRS zones are very small.
They're not bad. They're just behind too many turns where they're not able to be close. There's no back-to-back DRS zones.
And then even during the sprint race, like Yuki had some nice passes. He ended up passing Lewis and K-Mag when they were battling to get into the points.
Yeah.
And there was some more midfield battles happening here and there. Albon was fighting at the end, which was why he locked up for like 500 feet. I thought he was going into the wall. I really thought he was sending that into the wall. I'm like so glad there was a runoff there.
Yeah.
Who else was racing? I forget. There was more. There was a lot of racing. There was a lot of racing. Charles wasn't too far behind Max either.
It was the most exciting one out of the three so far at Miami.
Oh, for sure, 100%. I
did see though, because you can never make everyone happy. Someone said, "Well, if this wasn't Lando's first win, the race for the lead was still pretty boring." And I was like, "What do you people want?" Like, we got halfway through the race. Yeah, a safety car kind of jockeyed the lead a little bit, but like, what do you guys want? Like, it's just how it goes sometimes. I mean,
we've said it. You and I have been preaching this forever. These street races, like they just. This is what happens.
Yeah,
it's part of the sport. Like you guys want Monaco to happen. Monaco's going to be the same thing.
Yeah,
you're not going to see any overtaking. You're going to see some pit stop overtakes. You're going to see a few safety cars here and there because it's bound to happen. Where Logan Sargent ends up in a damn wall again.
Yep.
It's so unfortunate that it was him too, and it wasn't his fault. It really wasn't his fault that he ended up in the wall this time. But I was like, of course it's Logan Sargent. Guy cannot catch a break to save his life.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, like you just have to expect this from the street races in general. Jeddah's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
There's not too many exciting street races in Formula One. These cars are too big, they're too wide. The downforce is just too crazy. You're just not gonna get it.
Yeah, no, I think it was the best one so far though. I don't know what more we could have fully asked for. I would love to have seen how Lando would have done without that safety car. I mean, he was some seconds behind. There is absolutely no doubt about that, but they were strong on the mediums. There wasn't, it almost looked like Red Bull and those guys pitted a little bit too early. Those medium tires, they worked well for Lewis and Sergio kind of at the end. They worked well for Lando and Oscar at the beginning of the race, and Charles, I think, was still on them for a while. So it would have been interesting to see how the strategy would have worked out. But, man, Lando Norris, first win. I don't know what year. I watched the race obviously on DVR, but the last thing ESPN showed was they showed the bottle celebrations, and they show Max, Charles, shaking the bottles, pretty much just hammering Lando. Mm-hmm. Then Lando doesn't do anything with his bottle, and then it looked like we were gonna get one of the Lando celebrations.
He does it.
And ESPN cut it off.
I didn't see. Yeah. He did it.
Did you watch it on F1 TV? Or
I watched it on F1 TV. So, he did do it. What was the other thing? I wish I saw the Fred Vasseur celebration live. Did you see that?
Where he joined in on the
He
team?
joined in with McLaren. Yeah. He's like, when he started spraying them, he sprayed everyone on the team like right in the face. He didn't care.
He has such good vibes about him,
dude. Like he gets along with everyone.
It's more positives. It's like McLaren's doing good thing, winning races. Ferrari seems like they're being aggressive. They're not making dumb decisions. Fred Vasseur seems like they're taking that in a positive direction. It seems like there's a lot of positives going on right now in Formula One.
It's crazy to me because like I feel like traditional F1 fans like before you and I, you and I joined into DTS, but I know McLaren and Ferrari have a historic rivalry.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to see that Fred Vasseur Ferrari, Ferrari guy through and through. We just went over to celebrate with Lando, and it goes to show you like the camaraderie of the sport too in general. Like everybody was rooting for Lando in that situation.
And sometimes where teams turn, dude, and line up with other people to beat the giant that is like Red Bull, and teams
that too.
got together to beat Mercedes, and teams got together to beat Ferrari when it was their time. So it's just crazy watching all these teams come together. I don't even know where to go from here. It's just so exciting. Max Verstappen. Oh, let's talk about Max. Finished second in the race. Didn't do much wrong besides cut the chicane. Just didn't have the car. But how about Max? Just so happy for Lando.
Dude, the way he answered the questions were hilarious too.
Oh my God, right?
He's a clown, man.
So Max is right there to cheer on Lando. The posts were basically like, if I'm not going to win, I'm happy it's Lando winning. They were hitting them with the what ifs in the interviews later. And Max said was like, what he said, if my aunt had uncles, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Mom.
Or if my mom had balls, she'd be my dad.
Yeah.
Which was
the cone. Even the cone. Did you see the cone question?
Oh yeah. I didn't like it.
Yeah. He was like, I didn't like it. I just moved it out the way so nobody else had to deal with it.
This is the best second place mood I've ever seen Max Verstappen in. He kind of sucks a lot of the time with like his dry personality.
I think
he
like,
gets second, and it was like cool. I don't know.
Well, I think just lately he's like so confident this car is like literally untouchable that like it's very easy for him to. It's easy to stay happy and like go lucky when you're on the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think when he genuinely starts to feel pressure, things will change like personality wise for him. But right now he's entertaining. He's funny.
Yeah, and I think if you're Max too, I think part of the not worrying, like you said, right, is that this was again a weekend where there wasn't a lot of practice. And yes, they were allowed to make changes after the sprint races, so they got some data. But I think Max is an old school practice guy. I think he's the FP1, FP2, FP3 guy, can dial in the car well. And I think that was part of the reason why that his car was the way it was. So I will be interested to see next week. I believe we're going to Imola. I do not believe there's a sprint race there.
I don't think so either.
I
forget what. It's a weird season for how the sprint races are because I don't think there's one at Silverstone this year, right? I think it's Brazil. See it Sao Paulo again, and I want to see there's one more I'm forgetting about.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how McLaren shows up and how Red Bull,
Ferrari too with the upgrades.
Yeah, and
can we just? I want to get this out the way too. John and I had differing opinions on the Ferrari livery. I tried to force myself to like it because John was so excited about it. I thought it was horrendous. I think if Ferrari does the HP livery, they should have fully committed and gone like blue and white or something. I think the blue and the red, the sky blue and the red, just clashes so much to me.
Austria is the next sprint race.
Austria
in June. And I was it's my dad said, I think Max said to Lando when he first got out of the car, get used to it. Ooh, get used to it or don't get used to it? Get used to it means like Lando's going to get more wins.
Possible.
Don't get used to it means Max is going to shut that shit down. I was in the minority, Alex. I saw the internet was like the car we wanted versus the car we got, which means a lot of the internet wanted more blue.
Yeah.
I thought it was the perfect amount of blue.
I just think the red clash is too much. I think just completely commit to it. How long is this livery going on for? It's not for the rest of the season.
I thought it was a one-off livery. So.
Okay, good. We'll keep it that way.
Okay, all right. Well, I was in the minority. Hey, listen, that's all right. Different opinions are fine. Do you like the blue suits or no?
Yeah, I think the blue suits, the hat, even like I think everybody was wearing the blue hats. It looked like, but I think that might have been just like a Miami thing because I know Mercedes had the blue hats. Like George Russell had a blue hat.
I don't know why the other teams were going blue. They were going blue for that theme.
I think it might have been like I knew Ferrari was.
Yeah.
I think it might have been just like a Miami color thing going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ferrari had the blue suits look good for Ferrari.
Yeah, I was a fan of Max. Max making those jokes in the thing. That gained me Max points.
I got so confused because I could. So the Visa Cash App Red Bull,
the V car.
Yeah, the V Cab. Their livery.
Yeah.
I thought it was Red Bull's when it initially got launched, and I was like, Red Bull's doing a livery for what reason or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I saw it. I'm like, this isn't like their best work, but it's also like Red Bull doesn't really care for liveries. And then I saw the Visa Cash App, and I was like, I thought they would do more. But I was so surprised. Did you like it or no? I thought it was okay.
Because I feel like the internet liked it. I thought it was.
I thought it was okay. It wasn't anything special to me. I think their original livery looks so clean to me that it's kind of like hard to like really different
Yeah,
than that. But like, I thought it was okay. I just literally thought it was Red Bull, and then when I saw Max in the regular Red Bull, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just misread the entire thing.
I want to. Yeah, you know better than to expect them to do something that crazy of
Yeah,
that sort.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do something for like. I thought they were gonna do something for like Japan again. I'm not gonna lie to you, because considering this is the last year they're gonna be with Honda, or next year it's the
I
last
thought
year
they
with
were
Honda.
supposed to. They might.
No, Japan.
They might use it somewhere else. I don't know.
Australia.
You're right. I thought they were supposed to do something different.
I thought they would.
Yeah.
Because like that contract to Honda's coming to an end too.
It is. Finishing in third, Charles Leclerc. Crossing the line in fourth was Carlos Sainz, but getting put down to fifth place after a penalty. A semi-strong showing, though, for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc 9 seconds behind Lando Norris in first. Obviously not their best work, but not a bad weekend either for Ferrari.
I mean, he was 2 seconds behind Max, and that's generally the threshold you want to be shooting for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Carlos finished. I don't know how far behind he was from Charles, but regardless, that's ideally where the Ferraris want to be.
Yep.
Second, third, fourth, wherever they.
Yeah.
To compete with the try to compete with the Red Bulls. Unfortunately they couldn't this weekend, but yeah.
Your fourth place finisher after a penalty to Carlos Sainz was Sergio Perez. He never really looked super on point all weekend. I think his big title grab. I don't want to say highlight. That's not the right word, but his big moment of the weekend was almost taking out Max.
That was crazy.
In the first
lap.
Crazy he didn't take out Max. Crazy that the two Ferraris were able to avoid it. Again, just never really looked on point on a track that he's done pretty well at, but not the worst finish in the world either. Just a solid day by Sergio.
Yeah, that first lap incident was very close. Yeah, that was really bad.
I saw a picture of still, and it was like he was this close to being demoted to Formula 5 or something.
He's gonna see him karting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, man, just it's one thing when Max. You expect Max to win, and then where's Sergio going to finish? So the fact that Max was getting kind of beat and kind of cars were keeping close to him, just not look like Red Bull's fast this weekend. I don't know what other way there is to put it.
No, I mean, like, the qualified people won the sprint and the regular qualifying. But yeah, Max is struggling with the car the entire weekend. I didn't hear much from Checo with complaints or anything, but I didn't watch anything live. I watched everything highlights except for the race.
They don't talk about Sergio's complaints at all.
That's true. What was something else I was gonna say? Let's keep going on the list.
Yeah. All right. So sixth place. Your fifth place finisher Carlos Sainz. He had a very intense battle with Oscar Piastri. Let's see if I have a highlight here of. I don't have a highlight of it. No, they're giving me the wrong highlight.
You're looking for the
I'm looking for the turn 11 incident, and all they're showing me is because I want to see how me and Alex are going to differ on opinion.
How did you feel about just to go back a little bit? K-Mag getting a 10-second penalty for that cutting chicane there in the sprint. I thought that was so brutal. Way too much of a penalty. I guess it's a new rule now. Like if you do something like that.
What's he supposed to do? Give the spot to Lewis? How do you avoid the 10-second penalty?
I don't know. K-Mag is really he's on verge for getting a race ban pretty soon.
I know, but he's eating them like a champ.
Yeah, he is. He's literally doing this for the team. It's unfortunate he's most likely not gonna have a seat next season. No, he might. He could.
He might have a seat.
Nico's gone.
Yeah.
I think who's gonna fill that? Behrman is gonna fill Nico's.
Potentially.
That's the lead role. So yeah, K-Mag might have a seat next year. But yeah, I thought it was brutal. But I was like, there's nothing he can really do in that situation. It's like you said, just give up the position. And he also played the team game, and he was able to create a gap for Nico to guarantee some points for Haas.
Yeah. And I mean,
he doesn't want to do it. But
when they asked him about the penalty, he said he deserved it, and that
Lewis said the same thing. I think 10 seconds is brutal. I think 5 seconds is fine for that. Like 10 is, even 5 seconds I think is a little brutal. But 10 seconds is a big penalty.
All right, so I got a picture here. Alex and I will discuss this photo. Bro.
He's ahead.
You gonna make me get the video of this video? Really?
He's ahead.
Yeah.
Carlos went later on the brakes. You want him to just give up the position to Carlos?
No, that's not how this works, bro. I could be ahead if I broke later than Carlos.
Carlos broke late to get there to begin with.
No, he didn't. Look. All right, that's it. That's it, people. Alex, go ahead, fill time while I pull this up. Go ahead, fill time. Go ahead, Alex. Talk about anything. Go ahead, talk about Lewis Hamilton finishing in 6th place.
I mean, you said anything. I was going to talk about the Knicks. You know,
I don't care. You can talk about the Knicks.
No, we're good. Lewis.
Gotta find this now.
Gotta find this now.
Go ahead, keep going. Fill time.
This is tough. Don't put me in the spot like this.
What do you mean? This is what you gotta do.
Okay, this is brutal.
This is part of the job.
The job.
Yep, it's part of the job that you don't get paid for.
No, but yeah, Lewis had a pretty solid race overall. Mercedes looked, typically slow. Couldn't pass anybody in the straights. It seems like he would close the gap. He was behind Checo the entire time within DRS range. He just could not overtake for a lot of the race. Yeah, a lot of the restart of the race. Who finishes P7? Is it George?
Of the race? No, Yuki finishes P7.
Yuki finishes P7? Oh, yeah, so we'll hop into that. Visa Cash App, both Yuki and Danny Rick scoring points. So there's that.
Can we talk about the fact that, if you guys didn't watch the weekend, Danny Rick finishes the sprint race in 4th place, and then the feature, he qualifies like 18th and then finishes. Where does that drop off from one day to the next?
I don't know.
Do you know where it is?
The incident?
The drop off. Like, do you explain where? Like, why? Why?
I honestly have no clue, because there's no park ferme, right, for the sprint afterwards. Like, you're not allowed. I'm sorry, there is park ferme for the sprint, right? And then you go into the sprint race. Are you locked into that car for qualifying too, like park ferme wise?
You're only locked in for park ferme once you go out for qualifying. Sorry.
So
you can make changes
after the sprint race. You can make changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he messed with the
You think they made changes? You think they finished 4th in the sprint race and they're like, "Hey, let's change things." We've been shit all season. We finished 4th.
I think other teams messed with their setup and he didn't.
Okay.
And maybe that's the only thing I could logically think of, because falling off, he qualified. Was it P4 to the sprint? For the sprint? I know he finished P4.
Yeah.
But where did he qualify?
For the sprint?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What did you say, P3? He fell back a
Maybe.
spot?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But that's still crazy. Yeah, it was a giant drop-off. He still had an impressive weekend overall. Like
He qualified 4th in the sprint race and finished 4th.
Okay. So he overtook somebody off the rip then and then lost the position, because I know he lost it.
Yeah.
I know he got overtaken during the race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But regardless, he had an impressive weekend for Danny Rick standards, especially right now.
We got to go back to Lewis. What did you say about Lewis while I was trying to pull footage about Mercedes? You said they were slow, typical slow?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a typical slow. They weren't fast.
I mean, dude, he was in DRS range. Granted, it's a Red Bull he's trying to keep up with on a straight line speed. But, like, he was, from the restart, he was within DRS range to Checo pretty much the entire rest of the race. And he could not overtake.
Yeah, but we're close to a Red Bull. That's a positive sign.
That's true.
And you're probably faster than the Red Bull, so you might even catch the cars in front.
Maybe faster than Checo.
Yeah. But then you're in dirty air, so you don't know if you're faster than the car in front. I'm saying Mercedes is still far from winning a race, but like that was a strong showing. Okay, you ready for this? All right, let's talk about this Oscar Carlos deal, because I saw it a few times, honestly, and it kind of pissed me off. Okay. How did I just change? What just happened? I didn't do anything, and it just jumped. Oh my gosh! I had it all queued up. Oh my god!
Relax. We'll find it. You had
it queued up perfect, dude.
You did. I don't know what
happened. You saw the thing, right?
I don't know what you did.
Now I'm getting
it switched scenes, or fast forwarded like a minute or something.
I must have hit a button.
I think you went forward too, because I think this is the safety car.
But
wait, is this it right here? Because that's Carlos behind Oscar. Hold on.
Yeah, but I had the onboard.
Oh yeah, that I don't know. Oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, never mind. I lied.
Okay. All right. So let's watch this replay right here. Okay. So we're gonna go to a replay here in a second. All right. Okay. Seitz is the faster car.
Signs.
He's the faster car.
Yeah.
coming up on him.
Yep.
He is he not side by side at this point?
We don't see Oscar's POV.
You need to see Oscar's POV.
No, you're not gonna be able to see him regardless. He's in a blind spot.
No, go ahead. You want to see Oscar's? I can't find
it.
Oscar's POV. You're not.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be in a blind spot regardless to him.
Okay, so he's getting past. You can't see him. All of a sudden, he comes in and can't keep his car fully on the road.
Okay, yeah, maybe you're right.
So, what I just don't get is that, like, so Oscar, if he was to leave Carlos enough room, would need to slow down more, and Oscar would complete the pass. But what he does is he drives it in hard and pushes him out wide. So if there's a wall right there, okay, they both wreck.
Yeah, that's true.
So now this guy on the inside doesn't think that he can just drive as hard as he wants into the corner, and that if his car pushes wide, that he's gonna push Carlos wide. Like they're both gonna wreck. And you're right. That makes it sketchier for Carlos.
Carlos doesn't make that move. Carlos 100% is behind because Oscar has the inside line. He has to stop and get behind him, and then he has to try an over-under move to try to pass on that move with the wall there.
Yeah, but I think these inside guys get careless because they know that they can run it in deep. I mean, Carlos is coming at him at 1,000 miles an hour, gets to the outside of him. And I'm just saying, if there's a wall there, they both wreck.
Yeah, you got a point.
But without walls, like you see it multiple times, these guys just push these other guys wide. That's all I'm saying. If Oscar had left him a car width on the outside, okay,
he gets overtaken.
He would need to slow down too much, and that's why he doesn't do it. But I don't understand how you.
No, you're right. You're right. I was just McLaren bias there.
But then now to Carlos' incident on Carlos's incident on Oscar.
Did Oscar take damage from that entire thing? I saw they rubbed the tires or whatever, but I think they said later on he had damage to the car, and that's why he had to he started to fall back.
So when Carlos passes him going into turn 7,
that incident
17.
right there, that didn't cause him any sort of damage. It was just a tire rubbing, and that's it.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Okay.
But later on, Carlos loses control a little bit. Kind of loses the rear end, which hits Oscar's front wing and breaks it.
Oh, okay. So he had
that's why he
damage.
came into
the
the
pits. And then he had the wing damage. Yeah.
So, do you think Carlos's penalty was just?
I have to see the incident. I think I was more flipping out about Lando being in the lead.
Jeez, there's other racing going on besides Lando checking out. My gosh.
I was looking at the gap. Literally as soon as Lando got in the lead, I just kept my eyes on the time. I'm like, okay, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. All right, he's out of DRS range. Max isn't going to catch him now. But yeah, I was just keeping my eyes on that for the longest time.
At 4 seconds, I was like, this crap's over.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, I can never trust it. I can never. I was expecting Lando to make a mistake. Did you see the last lap? He took every turn as wide as possible, away from the lines as he chicaned and everything.
As he should. All right. Well, listen, Alex and I, that was a good discussion that we had. Let's get back to it. Yuki in 7th had a great weekend. George Russell in 8th. Man, as one point as I'm excited about Hamilton and the Mercedes, I think Alex is right. That Mercedes couldn't pass a Red Bull or a V car, as they're now
called.
Or a Haas. Yeah, you're right. That Mercedes struggled this weekend. So just a whatever weekend for George.
I think what's kind of cool too, the commentators made a mention of it. They Lewis still has it. He had to show his racecraft this weekend to get some of the overtakes he got, and just staying close to anyone because he had some impressive overtaking.
Yeah, he did cause that incident in the sprint race. So.
Yeah, the sprint race was really. This is what I can't stand about F1 fans too. They are so extremely biased to whoever they like. Because I'm seeing all over Twitter they're really trying to blame this on Lewis. I'm like, yeah, it was kind of bad. It was definitely Lewis's fault.
I mean, bro, I'm the biggest Lewis fan, and he kind of went in there hot. And hit
he took
them.
out 2 cars.
Yeah,
he took out, was it both Aston Martins?
Yeah,
because he pushed one Aston Martin to the other, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It was all tight, but it was his fault that he hit Fernando.
Dude, it was so funny to watch at one point of the race. I think it was in the beginning of the race. the Alpines going at it, and they were going too wide into the chicane and everything. I was like, how did you guys make it through that?
The only people I've ever seen race through there. So
they hate each other.
That was very cool.
They cannot stand each other.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whatever. They need to focus on getting a car better. But
Ocon got some points.
Fernando had a slow weekend here, 9th place. He got taken out of the sprint race. I have lots to say about that, but I'll wait. I think the Lando's the highlight, but I think the big improvement here is Alpine finishing in points and having a race car.
Yeah, I wouldn't say having a race car. I would say they're finishing in the points. I think they just got. I
don't
know if they got fortunate.
Points,
yeah, they finished in the points. They definitely had a better car this weekend suited for this track, I guess, as a whole. But did they bring any upgrades?
I think they brought a floor upgrade.
They did. Okay, so that does make a difference.
Yeah. And it looked racy, and
I saw. But yeah, continue. We'll keep on going.
No, I mean Haas was beating them early on in the year, and Haas couldn't catch them at the end. I mean, it was Nico and Esteban kind of straight up and at the end, and Nico couldn't catch him. So I wonder if we're seeing the tides change with those last couple teams, because you have Nico in 11th, and then you have Pierre in 12th. So that's not bad. Oscar finishes 13th. McLaren again, front wing broke. I believe he only had 50% of the upgrades. It was funny because at one point he was in
6th, 5th?
No, 2nd.
Oscar? Yeah. He was.
Remember when they joked around? They asked Zach Brown which.
I think it was
third.
I think it was third because I remember getting confused at one point because he was behind Charles, and Lando was behind Carlos. I think for a little bit.
No, I think you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, so. Maybe he was in second, but I could have sworn I remember looking. I'm like, oh, he's closing the gap on Charles, and then I was like, oh wait, that's Lando, not Oscar. It's towards the beginning of the race, because Carlos started P4. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm right.
Oscar passes
everyone in the
Charles.
first lap. Oh, he does. Okay. So this incident happens, but I also remember watching. Part of the race where Lando was pretty close to Carlos, and I'm like, oh, Oscar caught up to Charles, and then
it
was Lando.
That was right before the safety car when Lando was murdering him on his mediums. Yeah, but at one point I was watching a race, and I said to Brooke was watching a race with me. I feel like last week I was down here saying to you oh, there was that point when we thought maybe Oscar was gonna get his first win before Lando, and then this year Lando's race pace has blown Oscar's out of the water. Then we're sitting here at one point. Oscar is keeping Max in check 2 to 3 seconds ahead, and then unfortunate for Oscar. But I felt like this was Oscar's weekend back, and then I think it was just derailed by bad VSC and safety car timing, and then the incident with Carlos. But he was also getting passed by Carlos before he got accident. But I was like, oh my God, because you were texting me, and I was like, Oscar's in second. Does he win this race? Is that why Alex was freaking out? But I'll just be interested to see if Oscar can climb his way back to.
I mean, he should be getting the upgrades coming to Imola.
Yeah, being near Lando's status though. Yeah, see if the rest of the upgrades help.
See what Ferrari lands. I hope it doesn't just I hope Imola isn't 1-2 Red Bull, 3-4 Ferrari, 5-6 McLaren. I just want to see some racy.
Yeah, well, I don't, Imola's an interesting track. I don't think it's a super racy track in general, so we'll see how it goes. Qualifying will be very important. Joe Grandio, 14th. Danny Rick, again, we talked from 4th place in the sprint race to 15th in the race. Was a crazy fall off. Bottas, 16th. Alex's favorite driver, Lance Stroll, in 17th. Alex Albon, who locks up the brake, is in 18th. K-Mag, 19th. Logan Sargent, 20.
Did K-Mag DNF?
No.
He didn't?
No.
What happened that he ended up behind Albon at the end of the race? Because Albon hit the runoff with that long stop. I know Logan DNF'd.
Magnussen received a 10-second time penalty and a 20-second penalty for entering the pits during a safety car period. That's why.
Gotcha.
This is what I want to look at. I'm really excited. I want to look at these constructor points. So in first, we have Red Bull, 239, where they've been. Ferrari, 187, where they've been. And McLaren in third, 124, all where they've been. No changes. I still think that Red Bull will win this championship because of Max Verstappen. But second and third here, we have a 63-point gap is what that is?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough for McLaren to close that gap to Ferrari if Oscar does not pick up his pace, because Charles and Carlos are are running great right now. Even on their bad weekends, they're still bringing home what? Third, fourth, fifth, right?
Yeah.
Where Oscar is having weekends where he's not even finishing in the points. Lando's not going to be able to carry this by himself. What are your thoughts on that second, third place fight that they have going on?
I think Oscar's gonna start like holding his own a little bit more. It's not like he's not like McLaren was with Lando Norris and Danny Rick. Like Oscar, so I think Oscar's gonna start holding his own. And it's like you said, he did look like potentially like he could win this race, and that was without the upgrades.
Do you think McLaren catches Ferrari at the end of the year? Do you think they change this
I think
around?
It'll be a race. I think it'll be
upgrades.
I think I can give you a definitive answer after the upgrade for Imola.
Okay.
And then so we'll see there, but I think it's possible right now. I think it's going to be a close race. I think it's going to come down to like the wire between those two. Red Bull's obviously going to take this away. Max will outscore everybody on the grid again alone. Mercedes, I'm interested to see if they can close the gap at all with any upgrades they can bring. Obviously, I think they're pulling away from Aston Martin. I think it's kind of solidified. Like Mercedes is sitting in fourth place on an island by themselves right now.
So I don't see them catching third. Do you?
I don't think so either. But I'm interested to see like what the situation what the situation holds for itself, because if they do end up bringing some upgrades, because I don't think they want to. I don't know what they plan. They keep on saying they don't know what to do with the upgrades for this car, and it's frustrating to constantly hear that as like any sort of fan in sports. Like you want to see teams competing, but I realistically can't see James Allison just not figuring anything out. And so I wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of the season they start catching it. Maybe the last 3 races or so.
Yeah, they
finally start competing with the McLaren and Ferrari, because I don't think they're ever closing the gap to Red Bull, barring some sort of miracle. And and I'm not even a Mercedes fan the way you are, but it's like watching them in qualifying just constantly barely making it to Q3,
getting out qualified by Haas's.
Yeah, and then like barely making it to Q3 every single race, like they're hanging on by a wire. And even if they do make it to Q3, like George being the outlier here, occasionally he gets into like 5th, 6th, but like have they qualified even in a podium position yet? Other than that sprint race for like Lewis,
I don't think so.
Yeah, so like
which was in the rain.
Yeah, exactly, that too. And it's like 7th. These guys are qualifying in 7th through 10th, like regularly. Yeah, and then again, it's like once in a blue moon you get a George 6th.
Yeah,
but like
I think they're out there in 4th. I think that's their spot.
It's definitely potentially. I just want to build some storylines here, John. Thanks for like, shutting it all down.
What's your storyline? That you think they're gonna catch them?
No, I think not entirely, but I think like towards the end of the race, towards the end of the season, they'll be a little more racy. I guess you could say.
Yeah. I don't know if they points wise though. It'll be interesting. Like there's 64 to 187. Like Ferrari in second.
Ferrari.
That's 3 times the amount of points that they have. That's a lot.
It's crazy to think Lewis finishing P6 and that was his best result so far this season.
Oh, don't even. That makes me so sad. A battle I think we'll see, and if this week's results carry on, is I think we'll see a battle for 5th place between Aston Martin and RB.
I hope so. I had RB in 5th at the beginning of the season.
Did you?
I called it. I'm like, I have RB in 5th.
And
it's potentially it's happening.
I think Aston Martin's looking like doo-doo.
Yeah, they are. And then
that makes me still so mad that Alonso said that about like not wanting to go to Mercedes because they're behind
20
them.
points down.
Bro, 20 points down.
And there's not a lot of points to be earned on this grid right now.
There's not. And, RB started off the first couple races slow. Here they are. I know they're still 23 points behind, but if Yuki drives like he does and Danny Rick can maybe put it up there, they looked faster than Aston Martin this week.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we have a battle there.
This Aston Martin's such a weird. The entire team is just really strange and weird.
I like where you're going with that.
It's because it's like week to week you'll see Fernando all of a sudden qualify P4 and then qualify P12 or something like that. And then on top of that, it's not even just that. Even if Fernando does qualify P4, which I think Lance out qualified him once this year so far, something like that.
Yeah.
But even if regardless if they qualify P4, I don't know if it's a strategy. I don't know if they're just burning through their tires. I don't know what's going on. But during the race, they are just dropping back. They're like Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Like they qualify high and then just dropping back during the race, dropping back. And they I don't know if it's fuel loads. I don't know what's going on with this car, but they cannot get it together. That race strategy team has to go. Lance Lowe has to go. They need somebody. They want to use them for information in the car. Put them in the sim. Get a good driver in there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's our battle though. Is for 5th. Haas 7th place. It'll be interesting to see if Alpine is faster than them. If they could catch them, Alpine
It's
moves
crazy
up
to
in the
think
rankings.
that Williams has not scored a point this season.
Williams and Kick both sitting at 0 after round 6. I would have not predicted Williams had a goose egg after 6 rounds. I would have thought they would at least stolen at least 1 point.
Kick's been pretty close to scoring. I think both has been close to scoring points a few times. Guan Yu Zhou had a few moments where he was. I forget, there was one race I think he qualified like pretty high up there. Like he got into Q3.
Yeah.
And he just fell back. I think he had some damage in the car and stuff. They've had some unfortunate luck in general, but like if you would have told me last year Kick still has 0 points, like that's crazy. I would have expected like Alpine beginning of the year to have 0 points.
Okay.
Haas, because we were talking Haas at the beginning of the year. Everybody was telling us like, yeah, we're not doing anything. Like the team principal said that like several times.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
like to see like Williams still at 0 with a goose egg, and then Kick too. Like it's sad to see.
Yeah. We'll jump over to drivers' points here. Max Verstappen sitting in first, 136. Sergio Perez in second with 103. Keeping him honest. 36 points is not, it's a little bit more than one race, or it's a race and a sprint race win. Charles Leclerc sitting in third, kind of pretty consistent this year, that man, Charles, 98. We then got fourth and fifth is tied with Lando above Carlos Sainz. I don't know where that tiebreaker comes from. Maybe it's
got to be overall like points, like finishing. No, not even, because Carlos has definitely finished higher than. Maybe it's the missing race. I feel like that hinders his like average placement. It's probably an average placement thing.
I think it comes down to like, so I know when it's tied, I think it goes to whoever has a higher finish, but they both have ones. So I wonder what it goes to that.
I'm assuming it's got to be like average placement after that. And then, like I said, Carlos technically never raced from one race, so that's hurting his average placement.
Yeah, but they're tied, 83 points. Then you had no changes from 6th to 9th. Oscar, 41. George kind of caught up, 37. Fernando still sitting there with 33. Lewis got a little bit of points this week with 27. And then Yuki Tsunoda jumps Lance Stroll to go into 10th place. I didn't see that one coming. 14 points.
That battle for 5th is going to be tight, like you said. I'm interested to see if Lewis will overtake George, because Lewis is having a rough start to the season. And then he had last week, or the last race, he had the sprint qualifying. The sprint race, finishing P2. So I gave him some points.
Lewis kind of ran George wide this week in the beginning of the race. That's why George lost a couple of positions. That wasn't really
I didn't know what happened there. I saw George drop 3 positions off the rip. I'm like, what? Didn't he qualify right behind Lewis? But so I think, did George get a better start? Is that what it was? And then Lewis just ran him wide. Was it turn one?
Yeah. What was the incident where they all checked up? Lewis got him, and then one around one of the long right-handers. Lewis kind of ran him wide, and they all had no grip. And yeah,
I didn't see that at all.
I also forgot, though. I didn't notice for like a half a lap that Lewis was on hards at the beginning of that race.
Yeah, which is I thought was a bold thing, because I remember like Lewis was trying to overtake. Who was in front of him taking a race?
It was a Haas.
Was it a Haas?
It was a Nico. Yeah.
Nico in the beginning of the race? Yeah, he was trying to overtake, and I'm like, I can't believe he's trying to overtake on hards. But the commentator's like, he has to overtake here. If he doesn't, I'm like, I mean, he's on hards. But I thought that was a bold move for him to go with hards, especially with, like you said, how strong the mediums were looking. Like it's not like Mercedes is famous for their Red Bull 2.1 second pit stops.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I think Lewis will pass George, because Lewis is the GOAT. Lance Stroll dropped down to 11th with 9 points. Oliver Behrman still in 12th with 6. I love it.
Okay, so I'm assuming Nico's going to pass him.
Yep.
Do you think Danny Rick too? Is that safe to say, right?
Yep.
Do we think anybody else is going to pass?
I think
Behrman by the end of the season.
I think Esteban will pass him.
You think so?
And maybe that's it. Yeah.
Damn, you have no faith in that Williams to start scoring points.
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't even know if they scored 6 points last year. Did they? I don't know.
No, they had like 20 something last year.
They had that many?
Yeah, because Albon had like a bunch of P10, P9, P8 finishes, and then he had like all their points except for like 2.
I
think it was like 27 at the end of the year.
27, yeah. Albon had 27 points.
He had 27 points?
Yeah, Logan Sargent had 1.
So they had 28 total, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Williams is just not showing me much. Let's let me keep going here. Nico is 6 points in 13th. Danny Rick scored all 5 points in his sprint race this weekend in 14th. Esteban picks up his first point of the season. K-Bag, 1 point. And then Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Pierre, Valtteri, and Logan, all of 0 points. Speaking of Logan Sargent and Williams, the rumors of Kimi going to that seat got hot But James Vowles said in a press conference that he has not spoken to Kimmy since last year, and that's Logan Sargent's seat for the year. Did you hear that?
I did not see the James Vowles thing. I did hear the rumors that Kimmy was going to be racing for the Williams and Imola because they're trying to get him in there, but he's still 17, so they're trying to fix the whole super license thing. I forget how it all works. I know he's enough points to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, they let Max do it. They let drivers do it before.
I think Max is the last one to do it, and I think they changed it after Max did it.
Oh, is that what they did?
I'm like 90% sure.
But anyways, the rumors were hot. James Vowles shut them down. So I think it'd be cool to see Kimmy in that Williams this year.
Isn't it crazy to think that Max literally did this at 17? He's almost 10 years in to F1, if not 10 years now. He's like 26, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he got into the Red Bull seat in 2016. So he was in Toro Rosso in 2015. But I don't know if he was in Toro Rosso in 2014 as well. So 2015 for
almost
sure.
10 years is crazy.
Yeah,
it's just wild. Like it's something that people don't, take into consideration. He's had so much more like races than a lot of the people on this grid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he will be up there quick for sure. All right, because I can barely breathe. I'm really struggling through this podcast. We're gonna go over our pick results here. So top 5 results were Lando.
I got saved by that penalty.
Lando, Max, Charles, Sergio, and Carlos. I can't believe I'm saying a different name in first place, so it's crazy. Alex had Max, Charles, Lando, Sergio, and Carlos. He had Sergio and Carlos in the right spot, which gave him 6 points, and then he had the other 3 remaining correct in the top 5 and not in the right spot, so he had 9. I had Max, Sergio, Charles, Lando, Carlos. Again, the penalty saved both of us there. I had 3 points for getting Charles and Carlos in the right spot, and then 3 points each, 6 points, and then the other 3. So me and Alex tied with 9. My dad, he got 4 out of the top 5 right, just none of them in the right spot. That kind of killed him. That gave him 4 points. So Alex had 9. I had 9. My dad, for the guests, had 4. That puts Alex total to 51. I stay 5 points behind at 46. And then the guests are down there with 38. So we are building a lead on the guests. The next guest is going to have to come in pretty strong here to hopefully bring them back into the game. But my dad guessed Max Verstappen first place this week, and
I think your dad might just be cursed.
Maybe, but I think he's done.
He can't get to first place.
He might be. He might be done for. Oh yeah, because he guessed someone other than Max
Carlos
last time. Yeah, so he might be done with picks for the season. So we'll see how that.
You think so?
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's already picked twice.
Yeah. Sure.
So. Yeah, man. Oh, God. Trying to breathe here. I feel like I had some stuff. We don't have a race next Sunday. We haven't had a lot of... We started off with a back-to-back doubleheader. Then I don't think we've had many doubleheaders since.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a heavy year for doubleheaders. It's a long season.
Yeah, so we do have Imola, and then there's a race the weekend after that. So, but we do have no racing this weekend. So we'll be back Monday next Thursday. We'll be back next Monday
at 5:30.
5:30.
Thunder up, Knicks tape up. John has to go to bed. He's got to go say goodnight to Carter.
Yes.
And get some dinner.
Wow, Alex, way to end it. Thank you.
Deuces.
Goodbye.